Hello and welcome back once again to Johnny B. Slow. And today I will be getting into detail on the throttle quadrant, the 737 throttle quadrant, uh, pertaining the motorized trim wheel. This will be a long video. I will also be getting into details on all of the other features that I have with this throttle quadrant. As far as the configurations for the servos, for the auto throttle as well, and also for the trim indicator servos. So let's go ahead and get right to it. Um, as you can see, I already have the Mobiflight connector open, and um, most of my settings are towards the bottom of the list. The Nellum's Quadrant, that's what I named my module for the Mega. Um, and further up here, I have like maybe three other Megas connected. Well, not actually connected, but that are configured into the Mobiflight connector. Um, I have I believe the MCP controls, the autopilot. I think I'm saying that right. MPC or MCP, one or the other. I have the radio stack, like the COM1 swaps, the nav swaps, and also I have the overhead panel. Um, and I also have a main panel, to control like the gear up and gear downs. I'm sorry, gear up, gear down, and I've not yet to do the auto brake, and all of the other components that's connected to the main panel. But for right now, let's go ahead and do the throttle quadrant because this is what this video is about. Yeah, let's go ahead and get right into it. Oh, by the way, if you guys have any questions about how to connect the autopilot controls, uh, drop a comment below, and I will also do that for you. Okay, so now for the elevator trim, parking brakes, the fuel open and closing for engine 2 as well. I have that configured. So let's go ahead and start with the park. Okay, and for the inputs here, I use the presetting for controls, brake parking. Okay, that offset which is right here. Okay. Uh, nothing to it. It uses a 2 byte. Um, uses a 2 byte. And for the pin, I have it on input. Okay, where is this? Is the LED? Oh, right here. I have it as a button, and I'm using pin 3. Okay. And for the next one, the elevator trim. All right. This is the input. And here are my settings right here. For on left, now this is for the encoder, okay? For the on left, I have the event 65615. And also for the, this is trim up, okay? And also for on left fast, it's the same thing, you know, nothing changes. And also for on right, this will be for the trim down, and this is the event ID for that. And also again, one right fast, nothing changes, the same thing. Okay. Now for the engine 1 fuel open, these are my presets. I'm sorry, offset right here. And I did a more option right here. I did a set value as 1. I'm not sure if that's the actual setting value that I need to have, because as soon as when you start up Mobiflight and you connect it to the flight simulator, you will have to like press the button 2 times for it to register. So I'm not sure why that is. Maybe it needs to be set to 0 first. I'm not sure, but it still works. All right. Engine 1 fuel closed, which takes a different offset. And there you have it. And I set that value to 0. And for engine 2, there's your offset. And I set that to 1. And for engine 2 fuel close, and there is your offset for it. And this one is also set to 0. But yeah, so I guess that makes sense then. For the engine 1 fuel open, it should be set to 1. But for some reason, you will have to actually hit the button. Like when you first run the simulator, you will have to like initialize those buttons so that it will communicate to Flight Simulator. All right, so now let's go ahead and move over to outputs. Now this is very important, the outputs. This is the signal that it gets from the flight simulator to run like the motors and the servos. So for throttle 1 servo, um, well, first of all, let's go ahead and do throttle 1 pins. And I will show you, I mean, you guys can use whatever pins you like, but um, these are the pins that I've used. For throttle 1 servo, I use pin 6. Throttle 2, pin 7. And the servo relay, I use pin 18. Now, this is not the same as the servo, so I will get into details on what's different about these. Okay, so the servo relays, this one is actually preset to the auto throttle hold for the AutoPilot. Okay, so what the relay does, it gets the signal from the autopilot hold, and it actually turns that relay switch on that drives the servo. Okay, and for the parking brakes, that's for pin 3. Now this is not the actually it is. No, yeah, this is that. Oh yeah, yeah, this is for the parking brake switch. So this is actually an input. So we're doing outputs. Okay. The left trim indicator, this is pin 4. Right trim indicator, I'm using pin 5. Now the trim wheel stepper, I'm using pins 8, 9, 10, and 11. Okay. So this right here, these pins are for the stepper driver actually. Okay. Not the stepper motor. It's for the driver because the pins need to be connected to the driver. The driver is what connects. The driver is what runs the motor. So yeah, the encoder, that's another input. So we're actually explaining the outputs. Stepper relay. Okay, now this is an output. And I have this set as a LED light. The reason for that, because I need a signal for this in order to go to that relay for the stepper. Okay. Um, the engine 1 fuel open, those are all inputs. Okay, so that's all for the outputs. All right, so let's go ahead and go to the important stuff here. Now the servo, the configurations for the servo are very important. Okay. So when you go here to um, well, let's go ahead and do the presets. Yeah, presets. Okay, so the presets are as shown right here. These are the presets, and for the transform, I just use the dollar sign. Now let's keep in mind this is for throttle 1. Throttle 2 will be different because it's reversed. Okay, it's going the opposite direction. So for throttle 1, we're using size in bytes 2. All right, and transform is just the dollar sign. Now, when you come to the display, this is what's important, okay? So the minute value is 0, set at 0. The max value is set at 16334, and the max rotation is set at 50%. Now, you can use whatever values you want to, but these values here, they are meant for the gear ratio that I have constructed for the quadrant. So this is a good um, value settings for the gear ratios that I have. Now, however, for those of you that have your own gear ratios and not using the same gear ratios that I have, you want to need to have to change these settings. Okay, that's that. Now let's go for the parking brake LED. Now this is an output. This turns the LED light on and off. Okay, and here are the offsets for that. Okay, this I have this set to a one byte. All right, that's that. Throttle 2. This one's going to be different from throttle 1. Um, if you see here, the mask value, I'm sorry, the offset is as shown right here. And I have this one set as 2 bytes. The transform is different now. You see, I'm using a dollar sign and a negative 16334 because it's going the opposite direction. I had to change the polarity. Now, if you change the polarity on the servo itself, it will not work because the servo has I believe it's a potentiometer built inside, so it needs that standard uh, permanent polarity. So it won't work if you try to reverse the negative wire and the positive wire. It will not work. It will shut down your Arduino. Let's keep that in mind. Now, for your display, um, of course, the servo is set to throttle to servo. Make sure that you put it on the right servo. The min value is 0. The max value is negative again, negative 16384. The rotation is also set at 50%. All right, servo relay 1. Nothing special about this. They're just set at, here is what is, okay, so the relay, like I said before, it's set as in LED. It's set as a LED light. I need that signal. So that signal is for the preset AutoPilot AP airspeed hold. Okay, it's very important. Okay. Um, well, let's go ahead because I don't want to confuse you guys. So let's go ahead and run. Let's minimize this, and I'm going to. I'm going to actually turn on Flight Simulator so I can show you what the auto throttle hold button looks like. For those of you that don't know, like I said, this is going to be a long video, so if for any reason you don't want to go through all these presets, you can fast forward to the part that you do need. This load, trying to load this simulator here up. It might take a while. Okay, go ahead and wait for this to load up right quick. Or I just might edit this part out. Not sure yet. Not sure yet. Come on. Go, 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 go. All right, now the autopilot hold would be this button right here. Of course, you will have to turn this one on and flick that switch. When you flick that switch, then your relay will kick in and it will activate your servos. Okay. The reason why it's set up like this because your servos, you cannot, when they're engaged, you cannot move the throttles. Um, like if you want to do it manually. So that's why those relays are there to disactivate those servos because you cannot move those throttle handles if the servos are remaining on. Okay, so that's that. Okay, so you have this relay output that's set as a LED light because you need that signal. Now, this signal can run to both of the relays. Okay, you can use that one pin and tie it into those two relays to get that signal. However, each servo needs its own relay. Okay. All right. So let's see here. Um, okay. Now for the actually, I'm gonna go ahead and open up a file and an image, a schematic, and it's going to show you how I got it wired up. Let me see if I can locate it here. Go to image. Let me get into this folder here. And I have all the wires laid out. All right. Now, if you notice, um, that that LED output signal is coming from these two servos, and it's going into pin 18. Yeah, pin 18. So soon as you click that autopilot airspeed hold, it will activate those servos. Okay. Well, actually, you don't really need to say servo relay one. Just say a servo relay. I'm not sure why I put that one there. So now let's go to the left trim indicator. This is also connected to a servo. So again, this other uh, the left trim indicator will have a negative because it's actually reversed. It needs to go the opposite direction. So here's the offset for that. And here's your transform. It's a dollar sign. This is important, guys. So we have here a dollar sign star negative dot 7689 46875. Okay, make sure you put those in there. All right, so your display is, of course, use type of servo. That's what I named it. Your min value is 50, and your max value is 14200. The max rotation is 8%. And the reason why this has an 8% is because the gear ratio that's connected to the servo is fairly large, okay? And the gear uh, that's on the needle is small, so that's why this is 8%. You don't want that servo to have a large rotation because, you know, it just won't work. It'll be turning that needle so much. Okay, and for the right trim indicator, servo, this is min value 0, max value 14200, max rotation is 6%, which it should be 8%. I will change that later. Um, the trim wheel stepper. Okay, this is mainly what this video is about. Sorry it took so long to get here. I actually should have done this first. I just wanted to go down the list so that I don't leave anything out. Okay. Now the trim wheel stepper is very important. Okay. Let's go ahead and do the value. The value is 0x0BC2. Now this should be I forgot what. Oh yes. This is the same offset for the trim indicators. Yeah, for the trim indicators, it uses the same value because it's trim. It's all the same thing, and I'm using 2 bytes for it. The transform is a $sign only. Now the display is what's important because for again based on my gear ratio, these are the best settings that mimic the actual Flight Simulator X. Flight Simulator X. I will repeat that again. This is for the settings for Flight Simulator X, not 2020, because I know I'm not sure about the 2020 Flight Simulator. Maybe they have updated, but in the rear airplane, those trim wheels they spin really fast. Now, however, in the Flight Simulator X, the trim wheels they spin slow. As a matter of fact, it probably only rotates once around. All right, so this right here mimics the exact same speed as Flight Simulator X. I'm not sure about Flight Simulator 2020. So for the sim stepper, I got it set at 600. And for the stepper, for the sim, it's 600. For the stepper, it's 250. Okay. I'm not sure what the test value 1 means, but it's just there. Okay. And that's that for that. um, okay. So now for the stepper relay, it's different. This is the signal. Okay. This right here turns on the relay that activate that stepper driver. Okay. This gives power to the stepper motor. And I have it presetted to the AutoPilot AP master switch. Okay. Just like on Flight Simulator, the automation for the trim wheel will not work unless you put that switch on. And that switch is this right here. That would be this CMDA. When you turn that on, then your auto trims will start to rotate. Okay. Now for my display settings, nothing. All right. Just select pins as stepper relay. These are how I named my relay, okay? And it's the output. And I believe that's it. So if you guys have any questions on how to get something done, you can reach out to me, drop a comment, send me your email, and then we can tackle that. All right. If you would like to know how to connect your MCP up, like your segment display lights and stuff like that, drop a comment. I can help you guys out. Um, for like the headings and the VOR lock, all this stuff right here actually works. But yeah, please share my video, like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.